So, Precure Movies. I kinda stopped watching them after a while. I haven't enjoyed a movie in a really long time, even for seasons I loved. I would say since Horror No Carnival, the quality has kinda dropped, but not to the point of Horror No Carnival. That's the worst one of the Precure movies. So I thought I'd play some catch up. I have 4 movies that I haven't watched from the seasons Healing Good to Delicious Party, 2 for Healing Good and 1 for Tropical Rouge and Delicious Party. Few things first. Firstly, I'm sorry for all the still images. I'm still very new to this and I don't want to risk copyright or anything like that. I will need some time to figure out how to do reviews without going out of pocket with Precure movie DVDs. I do own some Precure DVDs, so when we get to those movies, I can use footage from those movies and series. I would recommend listening to this in a podcast form while playing games or doing something productive that you're putting off. Secondly, these are my opinions, and I will say, especially one of these seasons, I really don't like. Most of it I'd say is positive. As I'm writing this, I've seen all the movies and written about them, and even I had some surprises on how good these movies could be. So let's get started with reviewing these Precure movies. So let's start with Precure Miracle Leap. This is the last All-Stars movie to be released before Precure All-Stars F. This has just been announced at the time of writing this, so hopefully this won't be out before then or I'll have to add another movie to this video. This movie has the Healing Good, Star Twinkle and Hugto teams, which is just a quick summary. I love Healing Good and Hugto. Both seasons are in my top 5. Star Twinkle, I love the characters, but the season has a character imbalance issue. Don't worry, the worst contender for this I'll be watching later, so we will come back to this. I really want to make a series reviewing each season, so I'm just going to leave this here. Plot, there isn't really one. If you've seen Groundhog Day starring Bill Murray, you've already seen this movie. Clockman attacks a town and for some reason makes 5.5 hours repeat for an eternity. There's also a little clock girl who the Clockman is after to stop tomorrow from happening, or even the afternoon. Nodoka is going to do homework with Chiyo and Hinata, and she runs into Hana and Hikaru on the way the same way all the other All-Stars movie works. Later they are attacked and the other girls other than the Healing Good girls are sent back with no memory. Thanks to the miracle lights, Nodoka and the other girls need to figure out how to stop time from repeating itself. That's it, nothing else happens. The animation is repeated 3 times with little changes, which I liked, but one main thing I was hoping for was Nodoka's dad not getting his toast burnt. Second time round, little clock girl is kidnapped and Nodoka is sad because she couldn't protect her. Hikaru suggests giving 2 of the lights to each team, which for some reason, probably plot, Nodoka is hesitant. And before they could do anything, they're all back to where it started. Nodoka has a plan to go and save the little clock girl on her own, and Chiyo and Hinata is sent to get the other 2 teams help with no memory. Although I have a feeling if you say I'm a Precure, so are you, help my friend, I think they would believe you. They then come to beat the big bad guy, and then it turns out he just wanted to protect school building. One plot I forgot to mention is Nodoka's mother was attending a reunion event with her old elementary school. All I cared about was this dang toast being cooked correctly. And this guy wants to make sure the school isn't taken down because he is the school clock. And fair enough, he would die if the school got bulldozed, but while I know this is a kid's show, this is a very dumb villain plot. Anyway, the movie ends with Nodoka and her mother changing the school into an art gallery at the end. So when it comes to the new characters, there's only 2. There's Little Clock Girl and an evil clock man. They're alright. I'll start with the clock guy. I think the villain just wasn't very good. He was kinda boring and as previously stated, his motivation and the way he did it. I don't know, he was one of the weaker villains in the series. Although I think we can say that about quite a few modern Precure villains. As for Little Clock Girl, I liked her. She didn't contribute much. She felt more like an item rather than a character. But I do really like how they got a child to voice her. I think this is the first time I've seen a Precure character voiced by a child. So for a new character, they do their purpose, but they're not that memorable. I didn't mention this in the plot, but I love Grace's upgraded form. I don't like the fact that only Grace got it. I think either Star and Yell should have gotten a form, or Fontaine and Sparkle. But the Cherry Blossom look I loved. Although she was wearing a Cherry Blossom themed outfit and the theme was time, so shouldn't the outfit be themed on time? This attack is why she's wearing the Cherry Blossoms. Although I think this makes Grace have the most forms of any Precure. So does this make Cure Grace the strongest Cure? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Overall, this movie was okay. I'm not a fan of time travel plots, to be honest. I think nothing really happens in them, and it's just a way to get these characters together. But with these movies only being an hour, it's alright, so I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Next was the Healing Good movie. This was the last Precure season to get 2 movies, and I think since the All-Stars movie being announced and no Hirogaru Sky solo movie has, I think Healing Good will be the last season to have 2 movies. Do we go out on a bang? I've already spoken about Healing Good in the previous segment, so we'll talk about the other team in this movie, which is Precure 5 Go-Go. Outside the famous duo, I feel like Precure 5 was a good choice for this movie, as it's the first iconic team outside of Max Heart. I really like Nozomi as a leader, and she's tied number 1 with Miyuki Okura Happy as best leader. They don't really do much in this movie, honestly, they just get involved in a couple fights. I'm bringing this in here because they affect one part of the plot, so they're not going to get mentioned a lot. Honestly, they could have done this movie with Dream, and I think it would have been a lot better. Now let's look at the plot. The girls go to this dream world in Tokyo, and Norika's mother is there too. As soon as they are in, they get given these dream pendants, and Latte chooses to run away. Norika chases after Latte, and we meet a girl called Kaguya, who tells Norika to leave Tokyo as soon as she can because she has a shining dream flower. Side note, these dream flowers are literally heart seeds from Heartcatch Precure, even get stuck in the orb when they're taken. It's a Heartcatch reference, and I'm not even up to the Heartcatch section of this video yet. Anyway, speaking of dream orbs, there's a wolf guy who looks exactly like Wolferine from Smile, and he takes a girl's dream orb while Kaguya is doing an idol concert. Honestly, at this point, I was expecting Kaguya to go like, "Aha! I'm evil now! Mwahaha!" The Healing Good girls fight, and then Precure 5 arrive to save the day. After that, Dream chases after the wolf alongside the other girls. Hinata gets a call later on by someone pretending to be Cure Dream, and says everything is sorted, so the girls move on and hang out with Kaguya. Kaguya reveals that it's her birthday the following day, and leads into a flashback between her and her mother reading the Princess Kaguya story. She starts crying, and the mother said that she will always be with her. Another side note, the mother reminds me of Hanji from Attack on Titan, and Sherry's mother from Resident Evil 2. Very odd comparison. Norika decides to create a birthday party for Kaguya, and Norika invites her mother. Kaguya is very excited about the concept and goes to see her mother. Yes, you guessed, mommy is evil. Mwahaha! And the wolf thing was working for her, and she kidnapped Precure 5. But that's all for a reason we'll get to later. Kaguya does the whole I hate you mommy thing and runs away to call Norika with her wail. Meanwhile, evil mommy realizes she's running out of time, so she asks Wolferine to take everybody's dream orbs, which he does, including Norika's mother's. She sacrifices herself and the mascots are tied up. They glow from the dream orbs, and the Precures get something called partner form. They go to save Kaguya. Yes, she was taken too by the wolf guy. They fight to save Kaguya, where they find out Kaguya is dying and her mother is trying to save her life. Shit just got dark! Kaguya saves Precure 5 and they join the fight too, and Kaguya is able to give the dream orbs back to everyone. Meanwhile, the wolf guy decides the flower is now mine. Who saw that coming? And after Kaguya gives the flower back, he gets even more pissed off, so the Precure has to defeat him, which gets power up number 2. Between Grace and Dream, they defeat him once and for all, but oh no, Kaguya is still dying and asks her mother to read the Kaguya story to her for the last time. Grace asks the world to save Kaguya, and they are able to save her because this is a Precure movie where no one dies. Foreshadowing. Kaguya is saved, and that's the end of the movie. I didn't bring up the new characters' relationship too much. I wanted to bring it up here. Obviously, Kaguya is our new main character. She pulls the plot along, and her mother too. I love the conflict between these two characters, and having the wolf involved makes it even better. It's like what modern Disney is trying to do to make conflict. Two family members have different values or don't get along and they make it up at the end. That's the phase Disney's gone through now, and 2 movies, I'm already sick of it. Now add a third character who's a villain and makes the conflict more interesting. The end of this movie reminds me of Resident Evil 2 with Sherry and her mother. We even have a D4 monster attack and the mother punching her to the wall. Why is a Precure movie giving me Resident Evil vibes? I really like these additional characters and the dynamic between the 3. I like that. So Cure Grace didn't have 1 power-up or 2. She had 3. This was way too many. There only needed to be 1, which was the partner form. I love the design of these Cures that have a design based on their mascot partner, and I thought it was very creative. The other 2, not a fan. There was Dream Cure Grace, which showed up for 2 minutes. It was nice to see Cure Dream get a power-up, but the time it was on the screen, you couldn't see the costume half the time. And the third one was worse. It was only for 2 seconds, and I forgot it right away. This is my favourite of the 4 movies. It has its issues, but I love the setting. I love the relationship between Kaguya and her mother, and I like how Precure 5 doesn't overshadow the movie, and it felt like a healing good movie. But I think the older movies were better. Grace didn't need 3 power-up forms, and her landing was quite rushed, because all 3 power-ups showed up within the last half an hour, and it made the ending's pacing so fast. So I'll give this a 7 out of 10. Okay, Tropical Rouge Precure. It's a season. It's a movie. Ah, fuck, let's just get this over with. The 2 teams that appear in the movie are the polar opposite. One season is my favourite, I love it to bits. The other is the only Precure season I hate, and I never want to watch any episodes of that season again. And I do have Precure seasons that I don't like as much, but I would still go back and watch episodes. So just to keep the suspense short, Heartcatch is my favourite season. I love the characters, and I feel like these are the best developed characters in any Precure season. Tropical Rouge, on the other hand, is the most pointless cast of characters in any Precure season. We have annoying, boring, and 2 wasted potential, and Laura, who the show only cares about. I think you can take a guess on the plot. Laura, 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 Laura. Sorry, she's the only character this show cares about, so why should I care about anything else? Anyway, jokes aside, Laura gets an invitation to go to a coronation in some snowland, and the first half of the movie is them dicking about in this place. Laura also wants to put on a singing show, but has an argument with Erica around fashion. Side note, I thought Erica would have been the saving grace of this movie. She's my all-time favourite Precure, and they love using her when they can. But even she's relegated to the background. And this character is All-Stars movies can't stop using. Why do these people only care about Laura? Anyway, Laura goes and speaks to the princess and finds out this kingdom's been rebuilt after a disaster. Erica apologises to Laura. After that, becomes a background character. You tried, Erica. I still love you. Then there's a coronation, which we find out she's going to trap the people in this kingdom. The Heartcatch and Tropical Rouge girls fight, but Laura fucks up, and guys, I really don't care. I hate this fucking season so much. Anyway, Laura defends the princess, Heartcatch girls get attacked, and then they get kidnapped. Thanks, Laura, you've just got rid of the best part of this movie. Oh yeah, and Kururun's in the dungeon. Look, I know she's pointless and does nothing to the story like everyone else, but isn't she just so cute? I need a Kururun plushie. They free the Heartcatch girls. Lemire and Summer go face the princess because they remembered that Summer was supposed to be the main character. They beat her, sing a song, and guys, this is the most awkward scene in the movie. Nothing else is moving except their mouths. I was so creeped out while watching this. Nothing else is moving, just their mouths, and I don't even think it's in sync with the song. Anyway, Princess dies. Yes, she fucking dies. And the end, for some reason, Manasu's the one's crying. Mate, I forgot you were there, and you're my least favourite cure. And then the end happens. That's it. New characters. There is only one, and that's the villain princess. She's alright. I mean, I'll take her motive over Clockman from Miracle Leap. I'm watching these movies out of order, so while writing this, I haven't watched Healing Goods movie yet. And I guess the Heartcatch girls as well, which I love to bits, but I don't think they really count. But the princess, I wasn't expecting her to die. Precure characters don't die. They haven't since Fresh Precure, and that was 2009. They have to be redeemed or brainwashed all the time. So I think it was good to take a villain and do something different. I mean, she was supposed to be dead, she was supposed to die in a disaster, but somehow came back as a demon, and they could have possessed her, but no, it was a jewel that she was obsessed with that brought her back. It was her actions, and nobody else's. So if I'm going to praise this movie for something, I'm going to praise it for how they handled the villain. I really like the change to the villain. It was really good. It was her actions and nobody else's. Upgraded forms. All members of the team get them. Side note, as well, they also combine the 2 group attacks of the 2 teams. That's pretty cool. But then they have an upgraded attack at the end. And who wants to take a guess who leads it? God, I'll give you 5 seconds. Fucking Laura again! You know, she isn't the lead cure, right? I mean, at least my ears are saved by Little Miss Tropical here. But what's the point of having Manatsu as the main girl if she isn't contributing anything? Overall, I hate this season. But the movie was more bearable. Probably because no Manatsu attacking my ears with Tropicalu! But I really don't like the overuse of one character in this season, and nothing else has changed here. It's similar to why I don't like the Kira Kira movie, because Parfait was invaded in that movie non-stop, and no other characters got to shine, which I don't get because that season had some really good development of all the characters. Crap season, but okay movie. Can I stop talking about this now? 4 out of 10. Last movie is the Delicious Party Precure movie. This is the newest installment in the Precure movies, and I think this only came out a few months ago, so let's get into this. So this is the only movie in this video where there's only one team in the movie, and that's the title team. Delicious Party Precure is honestly the most nothing season. I don't have a favourite cure. I do think it was interesting to give more episodes about Kokone and Ran, but I found it off that Amane had nothing but a couple episodes, and the strangest part was that Yui is the most bland protagonist in any Precure season. But then it goes a full 180 in the last few episodes where she's the focus? Overall, I think this is a very boring season. However, this movie made me realise something about this season and put a new perspective on it. Because, spoilers, I really liked this one. This was a good movie. I still like Teelan Good more, but for a season I didn't like, I thought this movie was decent. So this plot is very weird. I think the best way I can describe it is the scene in Pinocchio with the theme park where they turn into donkeys. Just no donkeys. Then the Sith from Star Wars took over. This was a strange plot. So the theme park comes to Oishina town, and it's a theme park where you can eat what you want. If that thing you want to eat is based on the food the 4 cures represent. Rice, bread, ramen, and desserts. Meanwhile, Rosemary thinks something is off, and he is right, because he's an adult and he can't get into the park and gets chased. He meets up with the cures, they transform, then they fight the robots for only Rosemary to become a stuffed animal. Meanwhile, the mascots get dragged off, so Finale is the only one who can stay transformed. Just a side note, I find it a shame Finale never got a mascot. I always thought it must be lonely to be the only one without a companion, especially since Pam Pam and Mem Mem get human forms at the beginning, and they're playing on the rides. Poor Amane is just left on her own and the other girls have a mascot. This has just been a thought in the back of my head. Anyway, the mascots get a kids meal based on the food they represent, and this is a big portion for a kids meal. Is this an American Happy Meal? Kome realizes she doesn't want to be a kid and tries not to eat the meal, and when she does, she feels guilty for eating it. The cures catch up with their mascots and Finale is no longer transformed. Probably not a good idea if you're right in the face of the enemy, which makes Yui realize who Cat Sif is. In the movie, Yui has a flashback scene where she finds a boy in the streets and she takes him home and cooks him a meal. The reason why I'm bringing this up now is because the animation with Yui and Kome going through the past is beautiful. You have Yui and Kome in a white space. They are blacked out and they find out that Cat Sif is a genius who wants to use his talent to help people. The adults who scouted him, though, were taking advantage of him and using his talent for their own purpose, which is why Cat Sif wants to get rid of all the adults. While Yui discovers the parents of these kids that come to find them have all turned into stuffed animals, I think they should have really added here the kids finding out what happened to them. I really just don't like how oblivious they are to the situation. Yui and Kome realize they want to save him. He tries to turn the mascots into stuffed animals, but ends up turning them into precures and upgrade the precures into new forms. Yui and Kome punch him in the face, and then they use a final attack. These forms are in the movie for about 5 minutes, and it just really seemed like they were ticking boxes here. They turn Cat Sif back to normal, and it was actually Kome that speaks to him, even though it was Yui's flashback. If there's anything I would change about this movie, I would change the flashback. It's pointless being Yui when Kome is more affected by the plot and his character. And with how much the mascots are being used in this movie, I think they should have been the primary focus of the story. I think the series had some good mascot characters, and I think the focus should have been on them in the story, not focusing on Yui, because it feels very forced. Anyway, Cat Sif says he was going to atone for his sins. Kome tell him she wants to be a hero like Yui, and that's Kome's character in the movie. She wants to grow up and be a hero. Cat Sif tells Kome she is a hero, then walks away. I think this is a good redemption villain. There's a lot of villains in Precure where I question whether the redemption is worth it, and this one I'll say yes. Overall, this plot was very, very fast. This is the shortest movie of the lot, only being an hour. I don't think the upgraded forms were needed. In fact, I think it would have been interesting to just have the mascots. That would have been a new approach, and I think it would have been amazing to see the mascot beat the final villain at the end. There is only one new character, which is Cat Sif. All I thought was Star Wars, and ironically I watched this on Star Wars Day. Just the Darth Vader theme playing behind this guy when he does something evil. I do like the flashbacks of Yui where he makes some food and makes him smile, although I thought these scenes were really cute. However, I just think it was the most generic motivation for a kid's villain. Let's get rid of all the adults and turn them into stuffed animals. It wasn't really that interesting of a motive, to be honest. Overall, he was just okay. The forms were called kids' meal forms or something. So this was interesting. All the Precures got upgraded forms, but so does Kome Kome, Pam Pam and Mem Mem, who all three got Precure forms. To all those people who are saying Wing is the first male cure, I think this was the test to see how people would react to it. Only thing is that they don't do a lot in it. It just feels like a fancy costume to make the mascot humans more justified. Like I said at the start, this movie gave me a new perspective of the series. It was a pretty good movie. My conclusion is that maybe it made me realise that Delicious Party Precure wasn't supposed to be focused on the cures, and more focused on the mascots like Smile Precure. I'd say that takes a lot more focus on Candy than the cures. I don't think the mascots are as good as Candy, but it's nice to see another season with Precure where they make the mascots feel more involved with the team and not sell them as stuffed toys. There's a lot of scenes that are motivating them to save Cat Safe. I feel Kome Kome shares that feeling with Yui. Kome Kome wants to be older, so she wants to stop eating kids' meals. Side note, these are way too big to be kids' meals. These are very generous portions. So in conclusion, I think this was very 50-50. 2 of these movies I liked, and 2 were okay. I'm very surprised though, since Healing Good's the only season I liked of these 3. I thought those 2 movies would be the ones I liked. However, I really didn't like the All-Stars movie. I really hope All-Stars F makes an improvement. I do think there is a reason why they stopped doing All-Stars movies, though I would have rather had a Hirogaru Sky movie with another Precure team featured rather than a whole All-Stars movie. I just think there's too many characters now. Heck, even with 3 times, I think it can be very overstimulating. Delicious Party really surprised me because I really liked it. Yes, it's short, the pacing's very fast, but I liked it. And I never want to watch Tropical Rouge again. This is improv me at the end, this isn't scripted at all. But as of recording this morning the All-Stars F cast had come out. And Jesus Christ, I have never seen more random assortment of cures here. Like, I think they've went Go Princess onwards and picked 1 cure from each season. But, like, Cure Ange was here for some reason. Why not Yell? There's Cure Flora and Cure Summer, who are the only 2 cures I strongly dislike. I mean, Cure Felice is there and Cure Macaron, and I absolutely love those 2. But again, they seem like very, very random choices. And, yeah, this is gonna be a very weird, random movie by the looks of it. I guess I will make a video on this when it comes out, and hopefully it's not going to be as ADHD as it looks. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe. This is my first video, so there will be like a random assortment of messes in the audio. Hopefully I will get that sorted soon, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye!